Hello, fifth graders. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's quickly go through our lesson today and let's get your brains to work. Just a reminder, you do have ELA East class every day, and your grade can be found on Jupiter. I update it every single morning. We do have to have passing grades to make it into sixth grade next year, so please make sure you're putting your best effort forward. This week, I'll be speaking with all of your parents for family teacher conferences and discussing things that we need to change or things that are going really, really well for you right now that I want to make sure you get a shout out for. Thank you to everyone who did such lovely work on yesterday's vocabulary quiz. Let's jump into today's lesson. We're going to open up the worksheet for Tuesday, May 12th, and we're going to see what our tasks are for today. Starting off with our do now, it says, are you going to attend today's study hall at 11:45? Why or why not? If you already did do the study hall and you're doing this lesson later, how did it go and how was your experience? Please go ahead and write 4 or more complete sentences to respond to the do now, and then press play on the video to do our next piece of the lesson. All right. I'm so excited to see who of us wrote 4 or more sentences. 4 is a pretty easy number, so I can't wait to look at that tomorrow. Right now, please grab your vocabulary workbook. We are going to learn our Unit 14 words today on page 142. We only have 2 units left of our workbook, so we are continuing to stay on track with 6th grade readiness by completing all of our 5th grade work. Make sure you're putting in the work so you will be ready. Looking at page 142, 12 new words. Let's see. Number 1, please say alibi. An alibi is a noun. It's a thing. It's a claim of having been somewhere else when a crime was committed. So if you have watched maybe Law and Order on TV or Criminal Minds, which is really kind of scary, you might see that they come up to a suspect and the suspect says, no, I was at work. You can ask my boss. That's their alibi. Okay, please say alibi one more time. Nice. Second word, please say Confederate. So this is an interesting word because Confederate with a capital C is the name of one of the 2 armies that fought in the Civil War in the United States of America. The South became the Confederacy. This word links to that meaning, so let's study this together. A Confederate is a person, state, or country that joins with another for a common purpose, sort of like your partner in crime. Now, that's not exactly what it meant in the Civil War, but like I mentioned before, in the Civil War, it was a capital C, the Confederacy, okay? Number 3, the word is discharge. Please say discharge. Good. So this reminds me a little bit of our book, As Brave as You, because it can be relating to the Army or to military service. If you look at that first definition, that one's the verb, okay? To discharge. It means to let go, to unload cargo or passenger, to fire off, or to give off. The noun of discharge, to receive a discharge order, is the release or letting go, firing, or giving off, okay? So you might get discharged from the Army if, say, you were like Uncle Wood, maybe fighting in the war and you were injured. You might be discharged and let go to go back home. Or if you maybe didn't follow the rules, you might be discharged, meaning that you would be being sort of fired, okay? Number 4, please say economical. Good. My friends, this is a synonym, as you can see right here, to a word that we already learned this year, which was the word thrifty. Someone who is described as economical is someone who is careful about spending their money or using their resources. Here's Mr. Todd for you. It's 5th grade's video for tomorrow. He's on the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Word number 5 is frank. Please say frank. Good. Now, I do not mean Frank like Miss Sanborn's cat or the name. Notice how this Frank has a lowercase f, okay? When someone's being frank, because it's an adjective, it means that they're just being completely honest with you, all right? Number 6 is modify. It's a verb and it means to change somewhat. Modifications are little changes that you would make. So to modify something, you would change. Number 7, this word I like because it reminds me of pirates. Please say mutiny. Great. So a mutiny can be a noun or it can be a verb. The noun, a mutiny, is an open rebellion against authority. So like say we went on a field trip and I gave you instructions and everyone was like, no, we won't follow your instructions, Miss Carol. We're all gonna go get ice cream. That would be a mutiny. You would be acting out against the figure of authority. And if you wanted to go get ice cream on a field trip, guys, I would go with you. It's okay. Yeah. The verb to mutiny means to rebel against the people in charge. So luckily those words mean similar, those definitions are similar things. They're just different parts of speech. Number 8, you guys already know this one. Easy peasy. It's the word negative. As the adjective, if something is negative, it's not positive, it's not helpful, it's less than 0. The noun, a negative, is a no response, or it can be a photo image that reverses the light and dark. So when I was a kid, we didn't have iPhones and we didn't have digital cameras. We had actual film. And so a picture would be taken and this brown film that was kind of clear would come out. You could hold up against the light and you could see the picture and you would take it to a Photoshop and they would develop it. And then you would get the pictures picked up. To develop it, they had to use something called a negative to help get the coloring right. It's honestly really, really cool if you want to Google it sometime. Number 9 is pursue. Pursue is a verb and it means to chase and try to catch. The dog pursued the cat. Number 10, check out how that word is spelled. That word is rain. Please say rain. Right, so we have the E-I-G-N sound, which is a really rare one, but a very, very great sound for spellers and readers to know how to find. Reign as a noun is a power of a monarch or someone ruling over. We know what monarch is because that was a word from Unit 8. And the verb to reign is to rule, to be a leader, all right? Number 11, you guys already know from Spanish and from ELA West. Singular, which is an adjective, means referring to only one, singular. And then the last word, swindle, is so much fun to say. Please say swindle. Good. The verb, when you swindle somebody, it means you cheat them out of money. The noun of a swindle is a scheme to cheat somebody out of something. Typically, swindling is having to do with money. That's it for your vocab today. So go ahead, highlight that section and turn it green. And let's get ready to read the rest of chapter 20 in As Brave as You. We are finishing this book up this week, and Mr. McDonough and I are looking to pick what the next book is that we're going to have you come and get from Miss LaRue at the tables. If there is a book that you have really, really wanted to read and you think the whole class should read it, go ahead and send me a Jupiter message, and maybe that will be the book that we select. We are starting today on page 371, all the way at the top of the page. Things are really, really tense right now. At the house, we have Ernie, who still has his mask on. He doesn't want to go see the dentist. We have Grandpa, who hasn't really talked to anybody since the incident with Ernie and his teeth getting knocked out. Then Grandma found Grandpa and Ernie outside late at night, and Grandpa was drunk and drinking too much. And so there's just a lot of things that are changing. I'm also noticing that Jeannie keeps reminding us what day it is. And it looks to me like we're getting closer and closer to the end of the time that the boys are spending with their grandparents, and that soon their mom and dad are going to come and pick them up. And are they going to want to still be married, or are they going to decide that the best thing for their family is going to be a divorce? We're going to try to figure all of those things out this week. Please meet me on the top of 371, where Grandpa says, "Safe for me to come in." Safe for me to come in? He asked, looking towards Jeannie, who imagined him winking. "Yep," Jeannie said. "You built the house," Grandma said, smirking. Ernie didn't say anything. Good. Grandpa walked forward until his leg bumped the dresser. "Mary, let me get a second with the other men of the house, please." Grandma's nostrils flared, but she laid the shorts next to the shirts and left the room, giving Grandpa a little nudge as she did. Jeannie couldn't help but wonder if this was it, if he was caught, if he knew everyone was focused on Ernie, but he was still a bird killer. Ernie lost a tooth. Grandpa lost a bird that most likely Jeannie decided symbolized Uncle Wood. Ernie got 2 of his teeth back, But Michael Jackson was probably somewhere in Grandpa's backyard being eaten by a snake. This was it. This was it. Grandpa waited until he was sure that Grandma was all the way downstairs. And then he said, I understand you're going to see old Banks tomorrow, Ernie. Who's Banks, Mace? Right, Banks is the dentist. He also sells teeth. We can't forget about that part. The cat released Jeannie's heart and Ernie's tongue instead, and got Ernie's tongue instead. Well, I want you to know that ever since the accident happened, I've been thinking about how I could make it up to you. At first, I thought that maybe I could just give you my teeth. He reached into his mouth and yanked the whole top row out. Spit dangled like cobwebs, and Grandpa's smile was in the palm of his hand. In his hand. Does anybody know what that's called when older people don't have any real teeth anymore and they have fake teeth they take in and out? It's called dentures. Take care of your teeth, guys. Jeannie hadn't even known the man had fake teeth. That's how he was chomping on those apples. But I figured you wouldn't want them because you've still got your own. Grandpa's voice sounded different without teeth, and his top lip tucked itself behind its bottom like a bulldog. Brooke, the blind bulldog. Jeannie choked back a laugh. But Ernie didn't. Grandpa shoved his top row back in his mouth, clicking them against the bottom until the fit was right. Dang, I thought that would at least get a smile, he said, clearly to Ernie, who stared stonily out the window. Jeannie didn't know how Grandpa knew that Ernie wasn't smiling, but at this point, Jeannie had stopped questioning how Grandpa did most of the things that he did. Why, the other day, he even saw Grandpa write a list of things that he needed from the grocery store in a notebook, and every word was written on the line. I'm smiling, Grandpa, Jeannie offered. Ernie shot Jeannie a look. Jeannie shrugged a mouth. What? Okay, no more jokes. Grandpa brushed his hair with his hand a few times. Ernie, I know right now you hate me, and if you're anything like your daddy, you'll probably feel that way for a very long time. And I won't say that I don't deserve it, but I will say I'm sorry. I know you don't want to go see that crazy old dentist. Grandpa stopped. Must have realized that probably wasn't the best thing to say. I mean, he is a good dentist. He's just peculiar, but he knows what he's doing. Grandpa leaned his head in Ernie's direction. I know you're scared, he went on. He made his way slowly towards Ernie's bed until his knees bumped the mattress, and then he sat down, his back to Ernie. And here's what I want you to know. I'm scared sometimes too. It's funny. He rested back on his arms. I've been living in the dark for a long time now, and sometimes it still scares me to death. But times when I can't see the old photos or the letters from my oldest son, or I can't see the look of anger on your daddy's face, and now on yours, I think to myself that being blind, it ain't always all that bad. To Jeannie, that was one crazy statement. Being blind had to be bad. You couldn't see. And when he thought about all of the things that he was lucky to see, like stars and model cars and Shelley, he knew for a fact that Grandpa couldn't have meant that. But then again, after seeing Grandma's face when she was disappointed, and his mother's always exhausted expression, and imagining how Grandpa's face was going to melt when he found out about Michael Jackson, Jeannie could sort of understand. Grandpa rocked forward and stood back up. He reached for the dresser and ran his hand across the medals and the flag. I'm going to leave you guys alone, but first, Ernie, I wanted to give you these. Grandpa took off of his sunglasses but kept his eyes closed. I should have given them to you days ago. Take them. I have others. I know yours are broken, so here. Jeannie gave Ernie a take them look. Since they'd been there, Jeannie had never seen Grandpa take off his glasses, even once, and now he was giving them to Ernie? Wow. Ernie finally turned towards Grandpa. He hesitated, put a hand out, hesitated again, and then grabbed Grandpa's sunglasses. And when he did, Grandpa opened his eyes. Holy moly. Grandpop's eyes, oh man, they were strange, like fogged up windows. They almost didn't even look real. It was almost like there were clouds inside of Grandpop's head floating just behind the glass. Jeannie couldn't stop staring, all the while praying that Grandpop couldn't tell he was staring. He tried to get himself together, but couldn't help thinking about how Grandpop took his teeth out and his sunglasses off, and basically looked like a zombie. Whoa. Thanks, Ernie said, trying to pretend like he wasn't shocked by Grandpop's eyes or the fact that he was giving him his shades. Jeannie couldn't pretend at all, and he was glad that Grandpop couldn't see him at that moment because he couldn't stop looking. Grandpop reached his hand out, searching for Ernie's. Ernie met his, and they shook on it. Grandpop squeezed and said, "Let's start over." He gripped Ernie's hand tight. "The first one is always like this, and the rest are fives." Ernie nodded, and right as Grandpop was leaving, Ernie said, "And I don't hate you." Grandpop paused, but he didn't turn around. He just took a breath, and then under that breath, he started counting the steps. Question number 484. Why do Grandpop's eyes look like ice? Question 485. Why do young people lose their teeth just to get new ones, and then they get old and lose those ones too? And why do teeth only grow back once? It seems like they should just keep growing back like fingernails. Number 486. How come teeth ain't called mouth nails? Or maybe fingernails should be called finger teeth? That's very funny. I know that you guys think that's funny. That's hysterical. Number 487. Do old birds ever lose their beaks? Do they ever crack them from pecking hard on things? If they do, does that change the way that they sing? Number 488. Why do they sing anyway? And is the song of a bird different if the bird is in a tree, in the sky, or in a cage? That's the end of chapter 20. So your job now is to respond to these chapter 20 questions, and then to go ahead and press turn in on this worksheet. Don't forget to do your journal, and then I will be able to grade this and have it in Jupyter. I look forward to seeing you all on Zooms this week and to talking to you and your parents during our family teacher conferences. Bye.